So Joey Badass did another interview on the Joe Budden podcast, and one of the questions Joe asked was about, you know, when the rap battle was going on at Ab-Soul and all of that, how I felt about Daylight's verses, some things in there. And the reason I really wanted to talk about this because this shows the mindset of not only people who really in the culture and battle rap, but how they was taking things and how they can appreciate what each other is saying, while at the same time trying to maintain some level of respectability, but keeping it sport, as opposed to what happened between Drake and Kendrick when that could have just been sport. It could have just stayed there. There really wasn't nothing too crazy said. One called one a DVer, the other one called another one a PDF. But really, in the scope of battle rap, is that really all that bad? Despite what the overhills try to say, talking about this is the worst. This is a battle rap, bro. This nobody really cares. What makes it worse is the response afterward. You know what I mean? So this is only a few minutes long. Let's listen to this, make a few comments on it, and go from there.
I got an issue with you. I'd like to hear how that Red Bull Ab-Soul shit came about, like, from your mouth.
Y'all cool.
Because I thought about that in here.
Yeah. What's the issue?
My issue was if that was sprung on him, which I don't think it was.
Sprung
on Ab-Soul. If your verse was his first time hearing that.
Oh, no.
I did. That's what they told me.
It was not. It was not.
That's what they told me.
I actually wrote my verse after I heard his verse.
Is my line? Because y'all all laid that in the studio around the same time.
What?
Right?
Nah, so this is how it went, right? So, Red Bull approached me and, they kind of like approach one central person and then they'd be like, yo, we want to build a cipher, who you want to rap with type shit.
Oh, okay.
So, Ab-Soul was one of those people on my list. And then, Big Sean came into the equation and then boom, we was like, all right, boom, this is what we're going to do.
Was that a setup?
Like, what you mean? Set up how?
Absolutely.
Well, Ab is my man.
I know, but you from the verse.
So initially, I actually wanted to do all New York. So I was trying to do like me, West Side, and like somebody else. I can't remember, but I wanted to do like a whole full New York cipher. And then schedules was not aligning or whatever. So Ab-Soul was somebody else I had on my list. They're like, yo, we're gonna reach out to Ab-Soul. I'm like, I bet, you know what, that could be cool with everything that's going on. So one night, Soul called me, because now he's on board and he's like, yo, I got it. Like, we should do this thing where we kind of get at each other. And I'm like, yo, I love that idea. Let's do it. Yeah. Like, I love that. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? So then he sent me his verse.
Did he run that by anybody? What was that like, artist to artist kicking it? He didn't run that by Punch.
I don't know if he
couldn't run that by somebody.
Why do you think he would need to?
Yeah.
I didn't say need to. I would like to know if he did. Because him coming up with that and how it turned out, Ab's a friend of the show. We love Soul.
This brings up a question that I've had when the Kendrick and Drake battle was going on. Like, was that understood? Because there's talk that, their camps was talking. And you remember when Kendrick said, this was supposed to be a good exhibition in the game, but you fucked up the moment you brought up my family's name. And so I can see there had been some talk like, oh, what we going? I don't even know how that discussion would go, especially between two camps or two dudes that really, really, really don't like each other. I can see them maybe having a discussion and trying to do something to spice up the cipher or whatever. And that cipher wasn't bad, actually. It was decent. But it just makes me wonder more if there was that discussion, like Ab-Soul, Joey had a discussion. If Kendrick and his camp and Drake's camp had discussions, why wouldn't Drake just stick to whatever the rules of engagement was? Like I feel like that's a sign of desperation that most people don't talk about. That if there were these discussions behind the scenes of, all right, let's do this, even if it came after like that, right? Maybe like that, boom, there's some talks between the camps, this, that, and the other. I don't know. And so, Kendrick's like, look, this was supposed to be an exhibition in the game. Like there was some rules of engagement. It shows some desperation and a lack and a fear, right? A fear that I have to go there because I really don't have much to say and I can't out rap him. So I gotta try to clown him or do something antics, right? To try to win the crowd over. I think that's an aspect of all of that people don't really talk about too much. Not that people haven't spoken about it, but maybe not enough. The fact that Drake really was afraid to just go mano y mano, bar for bar. You know what I mean?
Facts.
It turned out great though.
We're going out on tour this fall too.
Yeah, you.
I don't think that video gets the same legs if it didn't have that little. I mean, it would have still done well, but that shit was like massively viral. If it didn't have that little spice in it, I don't know if it would have did the same level.
Yeah, I guess it
perfect time too.
I agree.
It worked for everybody.
Yeah, no disrespect.
Yeah. So I heard Soul Verse. You know what I mean? He sent me like a voice memo, his joint, and then I obviously see that he mentioned, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so
Daylight, Ray, and all that. So I was like, you know what? This is a great way to address this situation.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? It was at that moment where I decided, you know what? I'm gonna engage head on. You know what I'm saying? I think this is a good way to do it because my thinking going into the whole back and forth shit, I never wanted to give dudes like records in my discography.
okay.
So I'm like, all right, Red Bull Cypher, he mentions it in his verse. I'm like, all right, but I could talk to him a little bit too. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that whole thing came about.
Joe, did you feel a way about when all that was going on and you going at multiple people at one time that nobody else kind of jumped into the race with you? You was comfortable with just...
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. Joey really had the real 20v1. If you want to talk about a 20v1, he had the real 20v1. That shit y'all been talking about with Drake and all, that wasn't no 20v1, bro. Rick Ross made a halfway decent ass song about him, you know, a little diss track, but that was about it. Joey had the 20v1 and he was putting in work, man. He was holding his own. So no, if anybody faced the real 20v1 and held his own where you could be like, yo, that's respectable, it was him. For real. You put that up against what you motherfuckers talk about Drake. That shit wasn't no 20v1, bro.
Yeah, I didn't feel the way at all. I definitely was not like.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right, Red Bull Cypher, he mentions it in his verse. I'm like, all right, but I could talk to him a little bit too. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that whole thing came about.
Joe, did you feel a way about when all that was going on and you going at multiple people at one time that nobody else kind of jumped into the race with you? You was comfortable with just standing
I didn't feel the way at all. I definitely was not like, oh, like nobody got my back. Like, nah.
And there were some people from out here.
For
I mean, yeah, true.
Yeah, like you know, shout out to Cash. You know what I'm saying? But that, like, you know, whatever. But I mean, not whatever, but that was great. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that he made that display because then now he put him on the joint too, and he bodied it. But I think for me, what I understood was I think I had a certain control over the playing field just based off my relationships.
Okay.
So
And before getting into that, look, you can you see the contrast in just mindset, warrior, battle mindset? He really wasn't tripping that it was multiple people coming at him. In fact, he kind of got giddy about it, right? You want to put it in those terms, kind of got excited about it, excited to engage, bring it on. Like, let's see what y'all got and see what I got. As opposed to this victim, the reason I lost is because so many people came at me. It was a 20. Nigga, no, you lost because of one guy. Rick Ross had nothing to do with Drake losing the rap battle. And wasn't that really the only person that responded? We ain't even gonna count Kanye. That, yeah. So really, that's it. And so you try to hang your hat on this contrived 20v1 when he had a real 20v1. And granted, the dynamics may be different between the competition, but I'm still convinced that there was some sort of talk between Kendrick team and Drake team about rules of engagement that Drake chose to break, right? That Drake chose to break. But I really like this mindset. And this is what we need, though. This is what we need, where we can go in, where these rappers, they can go in. They can say that, because, you know, both sides were saying some crazy shit, but nobody went too crazy, right? Nobody went too far. and nobody was bitching and moaning and complaining about it. And I ain't trying to hear all that. Oh, but Kendrick called him a PD. I ain't trying to hear all that, man. People didn't say it worse in rap battles. I mean, he got called a woman beater, and his kids, you know, it's basically his girl was effing his homeboy, and his kids ain't. He's like, come on, man. I don't care nothing about that.
I knew that it was never gonna go left field, and I think if somebody else would have interjected, that could have kind of made shit get a little bit shaky. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I can't control what they saying or how, you know, this side feeling. I can control what I'm saying.
You're friends with everybody that you go right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm cool. I mean, I ain't no Ray from a hole in the wall. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had a conversation now, whatever. But that's like I ain't never know, bro. I knew Day, and of course all of the TDE homies. So for me, it was like a certain understanding of, and, you know, and I'm speaking to Top throughout, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we having little check-ins, certain conversations just to check the temperature to make sure, like,
everything
we're not going too far.
You know what I'm saying? So
we're just rapping.
At that point, I'm like,
and look, man, it does take emotional maturity to do that. And again, I'm bringing this up, and I like this conversation because it just shows the contrast in just communicating. Now, granted, Drake and Kendrick ain't friends, never really ain't been friends, right? But still, that don't mean you can't communicate with the other camp. You can't be like, hey, man, if you agree to keep something on one certain level, you don't be the one to take it further. And mind you, it was just those two. It was just those two going at each other. We ain't about to throw Rick Ross and Kanye in there. In this situation, and even though he cool with Ab-Soul and them, right? Like you said, he ain't really no Ray. And Ray Vaughn, honestly, they like to have some stuff where he gonna get into, but Ray Vaughn was saying some crazy shit. He said some crazy shit, right? You just gotta be able to keep a level head, man. This all boils down to just one person being a sore loser, not being able to just acknowledge, like, yeah, you got me on that one. You got me on that one. Do you know how much different? Even you got Joe Budden talking about the clip where he said that rap is boring without Drake and all that shit. You got who else said that? What was it? Esso, a clip probably a month or so ago where he said something similar. And it's just like, you know, Drake's been making music fucking since the rap battle. What are y'all talking about? Firstly, secondly, this is really all Drake's fault. His inability to just accept what happened and move on with the same attitude and energy as before. That's kind of what it boils down to, right? Really nothing more than that. Nothing more than that. But to be able to still stand there, man, and still not know, even though he's communicating with TDE and talking to some of those guys, like he could have got mad that Ray Vaughn jumped in it, right? He could have went crazy about some of those bars and shit like that. But hey, where's the men at in this shit, man? And then it's crazy when you got all these other soft ass people who can justify the soft side of things. You know what I'm saying? The Drake perspective. Just soft shit, bro. They call that shit soy boys.
All right, cool. Like, I prefer it this way, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want shit to get misconstrued or anything like that. It's rap, you know what I mean? So,
and it works out for both parties, I guess. Like
that show's amazing.
Yeah.
It's the highlight of April or whatever that was. Yeah. That whole first half of the year, there was no music. Like, y'all had the best shit out for 6 months.
Which disc to you did you enjoy the most?
Ayo by Daylight.
That shit was hard.
That was fire.
Yeah, that shit was nice.
Daylight had a couple of those dope. Yeah.
I was like, damn, like this nigga talking about ripping my baby out, my lady and shit like that. Like, I actually enjoyed it though. I actually enjoyed it. I was like, damn, nigga, like that's how you felt. Shit, nigga,
what do you think your
Hey, man, I think that might be it. Hold on, let me see before I say something.
most
Yes. So that's the end of that part of the conversation and go into some other stuff about acting and all that. But he said I even liked it. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I like to hear, man. That's what I like to hear. Like, I ain't taking it too crazy. If anything, I'm gonna get back on the mic and I'm gonna say some crazy shit too. But I ain't gonna sue. I ain't gonna start a whole campaign on you, smearing you. I mean, think about this, y'all. This shit's crazy. Not only are we in a place where a man is suing, people talking about hip hop was funner and this and that, like this guy done went somewhere. Remember, in the same clip where Joe Budden talks about hip hop, Drake making it more exciting, this and that and the other, In that same clip, Joe Budden talks about he's never seen a rapper drop off as far or as precipitously as Drake has when it comes to rapping ability. So whose fault is that, Joe? That's what whose fault is that? Right? That's that guy. That's it. That's just shit in his head. That's his mentality. Like, damn, this is what's fun. That was what was fun. That shit, it was tearing up the internet for the time that it lasted. That's what was fun, man. Ain't nobody trying to hear that other shit. I seen some other clips. There's this clip on TikTok of fuck. I don't think I bookmarked it either. Oh, maybe I did. Okay, yeah. Let me show y'all this real quick because this is what people was talking about. And they talking about having fun and shit. Check this out. I ain't gonna play the whole thing because I don't know if they're gonna strike me or not, but check this out.
I'm that nigga where I'm from, to be candid. I don't ask for respect, I demand it. Soon as the see, I got flavor. That's why these niggas bite me. I got flavor. You know what I mean?
All right, and the reason I played that is because if y'all listen to this song, I like the song. But this is what somebody said in this, right? We need to normalize this mad swagger music again because I'm tired of hearing about drugs and violence. I want to hear them Russell vibes, right? This is that real hip hop. This is my entire childhood, adolescence, and teen years I grew up to. And look, my main point in showing that is that that's what's fun. There's a whole bunch of artists out there that make hip hop fun, that make music fun. It ain't just fucking Drake, right? It ain't, man. It almost really, I don't want to be like always like something's a conspiracy or people being paid off. But goddamn, when you got this shit happening and no one really, these bigger platforms not calling attention to that and they putting out this rhetoric like something's missing. You know what I'm saying? You got to wonder, man. You got to wonder what place is that coming from? Was anything exchanging hands? You know what I mean? But if Joey Badass can have a good attitude about everything, even about a guy, Ray Vaughn, jumping in it, saying the things he said and keeping it professional, keeping it mature with a level head, I don't understand why we couldn't have had that with Drake and Kendrick. This could have been a thing that just happened. People could still do their debates or whatever they want. Instead, we got lawsuits, we got smear campaigns, we got this, that, and the other. That's not fun. Let's talk about who really fucked up hip hop. You know, there's this smear campaign that goes around that Kendrick messed up hip hop. I'm still trying to figure out how. This nigga just won an Emmy for a Super Bowl performance. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else is appreciating the art and the art form except that side. If you really want to say who fucked up hip hop, who fucked up the vibe, who killed the vibe, it's Drake. It's the fucking lawsuit. It's this fucking stance. It's these fucking smear campaigns. It's all that type of shit. This is what we need. We need people like Ray Vaughn with that type of mindset, who won a battle, who can keep things professional, who can do things just for the sport, right? La Russell, that type of music. We need those types of things back, man. I ain't trying to hear all that other stuff, but yeah, tripped me out when Joe said that, man. Like, Joe, how you gonna say in one breath, you ain't never seen a fall off like that in rapping ability, but then say, oh, hip hop ain't exciting. And you know what's going on out there. That's the thing I don't get. I don't know, man. Let me know what y'all's thoughts is, though, in the comment section below. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll check you out on the next one.